Parents with identical twins, what experiments are you secretly running?
Story 1! Identical twin here. Up until 2 years ago, my brother and I were part of our parents' not-so-secret experiment. The plan was to not tell either of us who was the older twin, in this case by 45 minutes, until our 21st birthday. The idea being that growing up, one guy didn't think he was the older brother, so should call the shots all the time, and that by the time we reached 21, we would be mature enough to not care about it. The experiment completely backfired. They just managed to build it up for years, and I still bring it up all the time that I won out and was officially crowned twin number 1. Yeah, no, that I could have probably told them that right off the bat. It's like, no, you're keeping a mystery for 21 years? A mystery that you're just dangling over their heads? Oh no, you've just basically made like 2 deranged conspiracy theorists who are just like, why are they keeping this from us? Who's the oldest? I must know! Story 2. Here's my story. I'm an identical twin, and my brother is 15 minutes older than me. When we were 20, our mom told us that we were part of an experiment where we were told the wrong birth order. At first, neither of us believed her, but she showed us a document detailing the experiment. I laughed at it, but I didn't really care. Being the younger twin does not really matter to me. My brother, on the other hand, got a rate. During our lives, he had been the one to take the lead on things. This experiment completely undermined his role in our relationship. Turns out there was no experiment. Our mom just wanted to see how we would react. My brother started seriously questioning some of his attitudes. I'm the older twin by about 15 minutes. The only thing that gets me is being able to say stupid jokes. Some of my favorites include, "Respect your elders," said with a crap-eating grin. "When I was your age," proceed to tell him what I was doing 20 minutes ago. "You'll understand when you get older." Once again, crap-eating grin accompanying this statement. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would want to know or care who was older if I had an identical twin. But, I don't have an identical twin. Definitely not anywhere out there. You wouldn't be able to find him. These days, he certainly wouldn't look the same after all the decomposition. But I don't have a twin.
Story 3. Someone with an identical twin brother, I can confirm that my parents were very curious to see if we would develop similar personalities and interests, and for the most part, we did. We're both somewhat introverted, my brother more than me, but have basically the same interests and are essentially as smart as each other, although in slightly different areas. I think that we're more introverted partially because we actually got along and didn't have to find friends as much because we always had one who wasn't going anywhere. Also, my name starts with an A and his with a Z, and you wouldn't believe how many people ask if that was intentional. It wasn't, they just liked the name. Also, the constant dong size question, which we've never tested and never will, 'cause that's weird, guys. You wouldn't ask your non-identical brother how big his dong was, would you? Twin brother here, measured dongs when little. Story 4. Our twins are mirror images, which make them interesting to watch as they grow up. One is right-handed, the other is left. They naturally gravitate to the same places in the car, at the table, when they walk, etc. One is far-sighted in the right and nearsighted in the left, and the other is the opposite. They have different personalities and swear the other one is the ugly one, even though most people can't tell them apart for a while. I constantly call their names wrong, but they are used to it and answer, unless it's for a core. Then I get the sigh. Every so often I'll pinch one to see if the other will scream. Story 5. We generally dressed our boys with one in blue and the other in red. This was done mainly so there was a differentiation at a glance, and so photos would be somewhat easier to tell apart 10 years in the future. Now I'm trying to figure out if their individual personality quirks are related to that early decision, easygoing versus stressed out, etc. Probably not, but I'm discovering parents worry about the stupidest stuff.
I really like the idea of color-coding twins. Because if I was a parent of twins, I'd be like, I'm gonna mix them up so much. Nope, you know what? This twin's wearing this color, this twin's wearing that. Except maybe they get older and they get jealous of the other brother's color. And like they form a hierarchy where they're just like, you notice how mom and dad wear blue a lot more and I have the blue shirt. They don't wear red very much. Do they, Daniel? And Daniel's just like, why you always do this to me? I'm just as good. I don't have a twin brother.
Story 6. Son A gets Gatorade. Son B gets Powerade. Whoever dominates the other in academics and athletics by age 11 will go on to become the favorite. Story 7. I'm a woman who has a twin brother, so while not what of was going for my parents, did various gender studies, so to speak. Not really deliberately, just stuff like if your boy or girl twins share a room and that room is stocked with dolls and guns, who's going to go for what? And sir, neither of us went for the dolls, but bro went for the toy weapons and I just obsessed over the logos. The funniest one my mom remembers, though, was getting passports for both of us and sending in the pictures for both of us with the backs labeled. My brother was in a yellow onesie and I was in a turquoise blue one because it matched my eyes or some such. The passport office called to confirm with her that she labeled the pictures correctly because surely the girl was the one dressed in yellow because blue is a boy color. Anyway, perhaps not what you wanted, OP, but you looked like you were lacking answers, so thought I'd provide one. The youngest girl with 4 older brothers, my mom didn't bother buying me any girl toys until she found me playing house with a couple of cars. Story 8. I have a twin brother. Our parents decided to name us the closest as possible. Our names are a letter different and pronounced the same in certain cultures. Needless to say, the experiment wasn't so secret. In high school, I wasn't in the yearbook for 3 years because I was thought to be a duplicate. We shared the same classes some years, which allowed for some breakups when it came to grading. He would have never passed Algebra 2 without my grades. We now work at the same place but different departments. I get emails from his coworkers as he does mine. So thanks, Mom and Dad, you have perfected the troll.
Okay, first off, I have to say, your parents gave you really similar names, and now you've, done a lot of the same stuff in life, and you're working at the same place and everything. I feel like that in and of itself is now a reason to not do that to twins, because it's too much. I don't like when twins do too many things the same. It gets kind of weird. It doesn't seem like it should be like that, and I'm weirded out. But also, parents, your kids' names isn't an opportunity for you to, have a quirky joke or do something like, ooh, what fun and wacky. Having 2 super similar names, that's obnoxious for those poor kids. Don't do that to them. I'm sure they're great, but geez.
Story 9. We refuse to tell anyone who was born first because we don't want anyone, including them, to make any assumptions about them based on their age. Like this one is older, so she's the leader, or that one is younger, so she's more laid back, etc. Not even their grandparents know. Oh, and they're mirror identical twins, which is just an experiment in and of itself. Their clicks spin in opposite directions. One favors her left hand. She writes with her right hand, but will paint and draw with her left hand. Fun times. Story 10. I don't dress my twins, 22-month-old identical boys, alike, and their personalities are as different as they could be. Twin A is a middle bunny, but twin B, aka L. Jeff, is not one to brick with. Last night he knocked over a block towel that my hubby was building with twin A, threw his hands up and said, "What now?" It's funny and a little scary at the same time. Story 11. I've always wanted to switch families for a day just to see how long it would take for them to notice, but Voodoo, my brother's B, probably scared you, would brick his wife. Story 12. Not a twin, but my brother and I look eerily similar. Except for his facial hair, as I'm a lady without facial hair. But we have the same coloring, same big curly hair, same face, same kind of shape, vocal tones, laugh, etc. Every time I visit, his baby son gets very confused and looks back and forth to both of us trying to figure out why he has 2 ladies. It's very cute. My dad's brother looks a lot like him. My nephew was about 2 when my uncle came to visit the first time. My dad has stepped out, so when my nephew arrived, it was just my uncle there. Well, my nephew assumed it was his grandpa and climbed up in his lap. He was as happy as could be until my dad walked in. He was creeped out, to say the least. Story 13. Mine are adults now, and one of them even has her own twins, but they are fraternal. Anyway, just last year, our identical twins told us that one of the things we did as parents actually worked. We tried not to raise them as twins. We said they were sisters who had the same birthday. We didn't let other family members call them twins. We insisted on individual names. We did not dress them alike. They were in different classrooms whenever the school had 2 classes for the same grade. So last year they told us that they did not realize they were twins until sometime around 3rd grade. They both remember sitting in their bunk beds in 2nd grade and talking about how it would be fun to have a twin. I'll call that a parenting success.
Okay, that's kind of interesting, raising twins, but telling them for a while that they're just, sisters or brothers or whatever. It's like, no, you're not twins. You're just, born around the same age. But yeah, whatever, no big deal. But yeah, eventually that's all going to fall apart and they're going to realize. And I feel like as kids, they might have some questions like, why? And maybe the parent's answer is, I don't know, twins creep me out. That's a terrible answer.
Story 14. Mom had an identical twin who is my aunt, obviously. My aunt is taller, maybe 5'6". My mom's about 2 inches shorter. My mom told me this experience that they had the same dream about a dark, tall figure standing over them in their bedroom when they were 9. It didn't say anything, just stood there in the same spot in both of their dreams. They both woke up at the same time and just stared at the spot all night. Definitely kind of scary, but that's the only thing like that has happened to them. Pretty sure there was just a dude in their room. Story 15. Finding ways to see if there was some weird connection between them. I have identical 3-year-old girls. The girls had a couple small stuffed bunnies from Easter they were obsessed with during this time. One of them was in the hospital a while back for a respiratory illness. One night, she was saying her sister wanted her bunny, very adamant. Her sister was staying with my mom an hour away, and out of sheer curiosity, I called and asked my mom if that twin was looking for her stuffed bunny at that time. She was. Now, it is likely pure coincidence since they both loved the bundles at that time, but I like looking for any weird connection between them that just makes me go, the F? How do you know that? Story 16. We have fraternal twins. Only my wife and I know which one was born first. We want to see what happens when neither can claim to be the older sibling. They just turned 2. Good luck with that. Our fraternal twins are 6 and have recently started having screaming matches with each other over who is oldest. We're not telling. I had to separate them the other day before it got bloody. Good times. Story 17. When we were little babies, our parents would put special socks on our feet to tell us apart. Our older brothers like to switch the socks to confuse our parents. There's a 50-50 chance I'm actually my sister. A friend of mine has twins with the same issue. She has no idea which baby was named what at the hospital, but says, I'm pretty sure I haven't switched them since maybe 5 months.
There's something that is giving me, existential dread thinking about the fact that it's like, oh, they switched socks and maybe the parents couldn't tell. So it's like, maybe I'm actually, it's like, oh, perhaps I was born as Gregory, but I actually am Daniel this whole time. Can you believe it? It's impossible. I can't be him.
Story 18. Identical twin here. When I was learning to write, my uncle was living with us and becoming a neurologist at the time. At my high school graduation, he asked me if I was still left-handed. Little did I know, when I was a toddler, he would color with us and move the crayon I was drawing with from my right hand to my left. I'm still left-handed, by the way. Story 19. I have an identical twin brother. We're so similar, it's stupid. We shared a room, played all the same sports, we had the same group of friends, rooted together in college, had an apartment together, and worked in similar fields. My parents didn't even need to do anything to enjoy observing any nature versus nurture between us. They told us we didn't have to do everything together if we didn't want to, but we didn't care. We would occasionally dress the same for fun and switch places on more than one occasion. It's a fun time. Story 20. My twins are about 3.5 years old, but one of the biggest trip-ups I have is they will shift personalities. I call it body swapping as a joke. And now I know I'm not confusing them. Just randomly one day, the quirks one had, latest was shifting admits to fall asleep, will just transfer to the other, and the first one was oh so obsessed, now could care less. It happened approximately every 4 months, and at this point I feel like my husband and I should start placing bets on what habit or obsession is going to be transferred next time. The winner gets a spa day. Story 21. Show 1, The Office, US. Show the other, The Office, UK. Then let nature do its thing. Well, the one with the UK version will be done a lot sooner.
I kind of love this idea. I don't know how you arrange it, and then, like, keep the secret from them where they're like eventually talking about The Office, but things don't match up and they get angry at one another. And then eventually one of them just kind of stops being funny for a while and gets kind of tiring. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I wish this kid had just stop eventually. But then he does eventually stop. It's pretty touching. But boy, oh boy, he should have stopped like 5 seasons ago.
Story 22. Have 15-year-old identical twin girls, and the only weird incident that ever happened with them was when they were in 5th grade, separate classes. They were asked to make a picture for art class of something to do with winter. They had made almost the exact same picture, a showman, kids sliding, and a house. Same amount of clouds in the sky with one bird and a bright sun. They had a choice to draw anything they wanted. I thought it was pretty neat they ended up coming home with the same drawing. Story 23. No secret experiments. They are adults now, but it was obvious they were 99.9% alike as little kids, so experiments didn't occur to us. They're still very alike with the JOR difference of having married women who couldn't be more different from one another. Mother-in-law talk for one of them is a B. Story 24. One of my best friends has twins. I asked him in jest one day which one got the soul. He rained laughter with a haha that's so funny and then followed it up with a dead serious Sarah. When my twin brothers were little, my dad convinced them that they had to share a brain. They each got half. He still likes to walk into whatever room they're in and loudly proclaim, 2 boys, 1 brain. Story 25. When my brothers-in-law were young, their father told them there had been a mix-up in the hospital, so Fred was Dave and Dave was Fred. Crisis of self ensued, including switching personalities until he revealed the truth. He's not Fred, I am. Honestly, woman, you call yourself our mother? Story 26. None yet, but I'll take suggestions. Tell them that every person has a twin, one good, one evil. Normally, the evil twin is identified and taken away to Evil Twin Island, Australia, obviously. Yours are still together because you haven't been able to figure out which one is the evil one yet.
Can you imagine the idea that one of the twins is good and one's evil, and they hear about being sent to Evil Twin Island, and so then they concoct a scheme to get rid of Daniel, and Daniel gets buried somewhere and he's gone, but then you pretend that you're Daniel, so you're just like, no, Gregory, he was the evil one, and I think he ran away, or they took him to Evil Twin Island already, but it's me, Daniel, I'm here, and everything's fine. I don't have a twin! And my name really isn't Gregory. Ugh. No, I'm sorry, Gregs.
Story 27. From my experience, they're all running the experiment, how much harder can I make it to keep the 2 straight by naming them Broden and Brandon instead of just giving them 2 distinct names like a rational friggin' adult? Story 28. Dang, twins run in my family. None in my generation, but I'm told it sometimes skips one, and this thread is giving me horrible, awesome ideas in case I ever end up with them. Story 29. Have fraternal twin boys. I always thought it would be hilarious to circumcise one but not the other. Wife did not agree. Foreseen for everyone. Eeny, meeny, miny, weenus. One of you will lose some... Story 30. We actually had boy/girl twins that looked very much alike as babies. People would ask us, are they identical? We would say, no, it's a boy and a girl. People more often than not genuinely would say, yeah, but they look an awful lot alike. How do you know they're not identical? Story 31. In this thread, you'll make Vault Tech look like a middle school science fair. Story 32. Twins are on their way now, any day now. I plan to name them both Christopher to see the confusion between many people over the course of their lives.
You should be sent away somewhere. I don't know if you should go to jail or if you should go and see a therapist or something, but don't you dare do this. You give them both the name Christopher? At least if you're going to give them the same name, give them an interesting name, like Orion. No offense to the Christophers out there. I'm sure you're all very interesting.
Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.